Hi friends, I'm Samriddhi Banerjee and welcome to my channel The Mad Reader. In this channel, I narrate the audiobooks of different popular books and stories. In this video, I'm going to narrate a short story which forms a chapter in a novel, Swami and Friends, written by Rasipuram Krishnaswami Narayan, or more popularly known as R.K Narayan. This story is called The MCC and is taken from the book New Mulberry English Course, Coursebook 7. In this story, Swami and his friends Rajam and Mani are consulting about the necessary equipment required for their cricket team. After deciding about and ordering the sports goods, they receive a card from their friend Sankar, who was somewhere else at that time because his father had to go there. Swami Rajam and Mani were profoundly moved by his letter and wrote replies promptly, but unfortunately they weren't able to send their letters to him. To know the reason, friends, do watch the whole video till the end. And before starting, if you like this video, do hit the like button, subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon. Also, share my videos with your friends and relatives, and finally, kindly write out your valuable opinions in the comment section as it helps me to get motivated and improve my videos. So, let's start. The MCC. The story that you're about to listen to is set in the fictional town of Malgudi. It is a story about three friends who are a part of the Malgudi Cricket Club, or the MCC. The MCC originally stood for the Marylebone Cricket Club of London, a very significant club which was founded in 1787 and made cricket laws till 1969. Let us read and find out what happens when Swami and his friends decide to buy cricket gear for their team. The three friends sat around Rajam's table in his room. Mani held before him a catalogue of Messrs. Binns, the shop for sports goods. He read Junior Willard bats 7-8 made of the finest seasoned wood used by Cambridge Junior Boys 11. "Let me have a look at it," said Rajam. He bent over the table and said, "Seems to be a fine bat. Have a look at it, Swami." Swaminathan craned his neck and agreed that it was a fine bat, but he was indiscreet enough to say, "It looks like any other bat in the catalogue." Mani's left hand shot out, held his neck, and pressed his face close to the picture of the bat. "Why do you pretend to be a cricket player if you cannot see the difference between Junior Willard and other bats? You are not fit to be in our team." After this admonition, the hold was relaxed. Rajam asked, "Swami, do you know what the catalogue man calls the Junior Willard? It seems it is the Rolls Royce among the junior bats. Don't you know the difference between the Rolls Royce and other cars?" Swaminathan replied haughtily, "I never said I saw no difference between the Rolls Royce and other cars." "What is the difference?" urged Rajam. Mani laughed and teased, "Come on, if you really know the difference, why don't you say it?" Swaminathan said, "The Rolls costs ₹1,00,000 while other cars cost about 10,000. A Rolls has engines made of silver while other cars have iron engines." Oh, jeered Rajam. "A Rolls Royce never gives trouble, while other cars always give trouble. A Rolls engine never stops. A Rolls Royce never makes a noise, while other cars always make a noise." "Why not deliver a lecture on the Rolls Royce?" asked Mani. "Swami, I am glad you know so much about the Rolls Royce. I am at the same time ashamed to find you knowing so little about Willard Jr. We had about a dozen Willard Juniors when I was in Bishop Valors. Oh, what bats! There are actual springs inside the bat so that when you touch the ball it flies. Fine silk cord is wound round the handle. You don't know anything and yet you talk. Show me another bat which has silk cord and springs like the Willard." There was a pause, and after that Rajam said, "Note it down, Swami." Swaminathan noted down on a paper, "Willard Junior bat," and looking up, asked, "How many?" "Say 3. Will that do, Mani?" Why waste money on 3 bats? 2 will do. But suppose one breaks in the middle of a match, asked Rajam. Do you suppose we are going to supply bats to our opponents? They will have to come provided with bats. We must make it clear. Even then, if our bat breaks, we may have to stop playing. 2 will do, Rajam, unless you want to waste money. Rajam's enthusiasm was great. He left his chair and sat on the arm of Mani's chair, gloating over the pictures of cricket goods in the catalogue. Swaminathan, though he was considered to be a bit of a heretic, caught the enthusiasm and perched on the other arm of the chair. All the three devoured with their eyes the glossy pictures of cricket balls, bats, and nets. In about an hour, they selected from the catalogue their team's requirements. And then came the most difficult part of the whole affair, a letter to Messrs. Binns for ordering goods. Bare courtesy made Rajam offer the authorship of the letter to Mani, who declined it. Swaminathan was forced to accept it in spite of his protests, and he sat for a long time chewing his pencil without producing a word. He had infinite trouble with spellings, and the more he tried to be correct, the more muddled he was becoming. In the end, he sat so long thinking of spelling that even such words as the and became doubtful. Finally, Rajam took up the task himself. Half an hour later, he placed on the table a letter. From MCC and Victory Union 11, Malgudi, to Messrs. Binns, Sportsmen, Mount Road, Madras. Dear Sir, please send to our team 2 junior Willard bats, 6 balls, wickets and other things quick. It is very urgent. We shall send you money afterwards. Don't fear, please be urgent. Yours obediently, Captain Rajam, Captain. This letter received Swaminathan's benedictions, but Mani expressed certain doubts. He wanted to know whether dear could stand at the beginning of a letter to a perfect stranger. How can you call Binns dear sir? You must say sir. Rajam's explanation was, I won't say sir. It is said only by clerks. I am not Binns' clerk. I don't care to address him as sir. So this letter went as it was. After this exacting work, they were resting with a feeling of relief when the postman brought a card for Rajam. Rajam read it and cried, Guess who has written this? Binns. Silly, it must be our headmaster. Somebody. J.B. Hobbs. It is from Sankar, Rajam announced joyfully. Sankar! We had almost forgotten that old thief. Swaminathan and Mani tore the card from Rajam's hand and read, My dear friend, I am studying here because my father came here. My mother is also here. All of us are here, and we will only be here. I am doing well. Hope you are doing well. It is very hot here. I had fever for 3 days and drank medicine. I hope I will read well and pass. Is Swami and Mani doing well? It is very hot here. I am playing cricket now. I can't write more. With regards, your dearest friend, Sankar. P.S. Don't forget me. S. They were profoundly moved by this letter and decided to reply at once. 3 letters were ready in an hour. Mani copied Sankar's letter verbatim. Swaminathan and Rajam wrote nearly similar letters. They said they were doing well by the grace of God. They hoped that Sankar would pass and also that he was doing well. Then they said a lot about their cricket team and hoped that Sankar would become a member. They also said that Sankar's team might challenge them to a match. The letters were put into a stamped envelope and the flap was pasted. It was only then that they felt the need of knowing Sankar's address. They searched all parts of Sankar's card. Not a word anywhere, not even the name of the town he was writing from. They tried to get this out of the postmark, but a dark curved smudge on the stamp cannot be very illuminating. The MCC and its organizers had solid proof that they were persons of count when a letter from Binns came addressed to the captain MCC Malgudi. It was a joy touching that beautiful envelope and turning it over in the hand. Binns were the first to recognize the MCC, and Rajam took a vow that he would buy every bit that his team needed from that great firm. There were three implications in this letter that filled Rajam and his friends with rapture. Number one, that His Majesty's Post Office recognized their team was proved by the fact that the letter addressed to the captain was promptly delivered to him. Number two, that they were really recognized by such a magnificent firm as Binns of Madras was proved by the fact that Binns cared to reply in a full letter and not on a card and actually typed the letter. Number three, Binns sent under another cover carrying 4 annas postage a huge catalogue. What a tribute! The letter informed the captain that Messrs. Binns thanked him for his letter and would be much obliged to him if he would kindly remit 25% with the order, and the balance could be paid against the VPP of the railway receipt. Three heads buzzed over the meaning of this letter. The trouble was that they could not understand whether Binns was going to send the goods or not. Money promised to unravel the letter if somebody would tell him what obliged meant. When they turned the pages of a dictionary and offered him the meaning, he was none the wiser. He felt that it was a meaningless word in that place. One thing is clear, said Rajam. Binns thanks us for our letter, so I don't think this letter could mean a refusal to supply us goods. Swaminathan agreed with him. That is right. If he did not wish to supply you with things, would he thank you? He would have abused you. He scrutinized the letter again to make sure that there was no mistake about the thanks. Why has the fool used this word? Mani asked, referring to obliged, which he could not pronounce. It has no meaning. Is he trying to make fun of us? He says something about 25%. I wish I knew what it was, said Rajam. Swaminathan could hardly contain himself. I say, Rajam, I am surprised that you cannot understand this letter. You got 60% in the last examination. Have you any sense? What has that to do with this? Even a BA cannot understand this letter. In the end, they came to the conclusion that the letter was sent to them by mistake. As far as they could see, the MCC had written nothing in their previous letter to warrant such expressions as obliged to remit and 25%. It could not be that the great firm of Binns was trying to make fun of them. Swaminathan pointed out to the Captain MCC at the beginning of the letter, but he was told that it was also a part of the mistake. This letter was put in a cover with a covering letter and dispatched. The covering letter said, "We are very sorry that you sent me somebody's letter. We are returning this somebody's letter. Please send our things immediately." The MCC were an optimistic lot. Though they were still unhonored with a reply to their second letter, they expected their goods to arrive with every post. After 10 days, they thought they ought to start playing with whatever was available till they got the real bats, etc. The bottom of a dealwood case provided them with 3 good bats, and Rajam managed to get 3 used tennis balls from his father's club. The P was there, offering 4 real stumps that he believed he had somewhere in his house. A neat slip of ground adjoining Rajam's bungalow was to be the pitch. Everything was ready. Even if Binns took a month more to manufacture the goods, especially for the MCC, as they faintly thought probable, there need be no delay in starting practice. By the time the real bats and the balls arrived, they would be informed to play matches. Rajam had chosen from his class a few who he thought deserved to become members of the MCC. At 5 o'clock on the opening day, the MCC had assembled, all except the P for whom Rajam was waiting anxiously. He had promised to bring the real stumps. It was half an hour past time, and yet he was not to be seen anywhere. At last, his puny figure was discovered in the distance. There was a catch in Rajam's heart when he saw him. He strained his eyes to find out if the P had the things about him. But since the latter was coming from the west, he was seen in the blaze of the evening sun. All the 12 assembled in the field shaded their eyes and looked. Some said that he was carrying a bundle, while others thought he was swinging his hands freely. When he arrived, Rajam asked, "Why didn't you tell us that you hadn't got the stumps?" "I have still got them," protested the P. "I shall bring them tomorrow. I am sure my father knows where they are kept." "You kept us waiting till now. Why didn't you come earlier and tell us you couldn't find them?" "I tell you, I have been spending hours looking for them everywhere. How could I come here and tell you and at the same time search?" A cloud descended upon the gathering. For over 20 hours, every one among them had been dreaming of swinging a bat and throwing a ball. And they could have realized the dream but for the P's wickedness. Everybody looked at him sourly. He was isolated. Rajam felt like crying when he saw the wood planks and the tennis balls lying useless on the ground. What a glorious evening they could have had if only the stumps had been brought. Amidst all this gloom, somebody cast a ray of light by suggesting that they might use the compound wall of Rajam's bungalow as a temporary wicket. A portion of the wall was marked off with a piece of charcoal, and the captain arranged the field and opened the batting himself. Swaminathan took up the bowling. He held a tennis ball in his hand, took a few paces, and threw it over. Rajam swung the bat but missed it. The ball hit the wall right under the charcoal mark. Rajam was bowled out with the very first ball. There was a great shout of joy. The players pressed around Swaminathan to shake him and pat him on the back. He was given on the very spot the title Tate. Well friends, that's all for this video. Hope you liked it. Thank you.